Good day to you all. My name is Cody Achin. It's very good to see you all. And before I start, I just want to say I'm very grateful and thankful to have been part of this fellowship, and very grateful to have been blessed with being able to sit with all my fellow poets. You know, they've given me a lot of inspiration and have really shown, kind of have my poetry shine through with what it's originally supposed to be about, reclamation. So I'm going to share with you two poems. This one's called Rooted Autumn. My arms beam with strength to nourish you with deep pink fruit, glossing your lips over the sweet nectar. My spines protect, which prick to inflict a pain you decided you needed. I take solace in my roots, rainfall alone I will store, and drink deep when dying. Let me house the woodpeckers who dig out my bones and cast my wound with twigs. House me like I house them. Present me proud in your yard. I will see to it your family generations. In the wild, I watch basket dancers sidestep, sideways, baskets in hand, turning and twisting to the beats of a rattle. I see them boiling my fruit for hours, stirring, drying out the pulp, storing for days, bearing by Dutch seedlord. Raise our arms in the new year of summer. Prepare the annual ceremony, pray for rain, pray for more. When I die, let me rot in peace until my ribs are bleached white. Give my afterlife purpose. Cut, carve my ribs, turn me into a handle, a rake, shelter. I am here for you. But in this desert, it is my only home. I am born on a scorching summer sun. I shall die on a cooling autumn moon. Thank you. Thank you. This next one is called Self-Portrait with the Desert. I stand in tandem to tan, rocky mountains of these deserts. My skin painted to the tinges of earth by spines of cactus, prick and pricking. My skeleton cut and bended by willow, thatched by arrowweed, copious materials for damage. On walking valleys of cold steel and blood, garnished with decorative art to garner respect. Oh, desert of me and you, I see blindness in face of them. My paint, offensive and loud, to screaming sounds of metal bodies. Chambers of educated English, papers presenting those in power of concrete thrones, making and breaking promises, cheering into glistening sunsets who crave your every minute. We will have to speak again to remind them of our importance. Water will die, and it will be I who crumbles into ash and bone.
Just end in time.
All right. Yo, sits kids, Titoken. Inwash, Julian Ankney. Hey, all you sweet people. My name is Julian, and I'm part of luk'upsíimey. Inwas Mimipu. I am Nez Perce, as the colonizers like to call us. Today, I will be reading a poem from my phone. The first one, actually the only one, is calling us back. It's calling our people back, our pain back, our land back, ceremony back, language back, history back. It's calling us into community through story. A poem for our ancestors, talking about hope and joy and native humor. And there's a few jokes in there too. You'll know when they are there. And then anti-laughter and joy. a poem that transforms. I see I see some tricksters out there in the audience today. But this poem is also for all of you coyotes. Hey. Again, Katiao, thank you. Thank you for everyone that's here today, and being, allowing us to bring a little bit of our rest. And of course, we all Native rappers now. A new world order. This is how it starts. This is where the tit-wat-tit begins. Now it's time to shut up, sit down, and tell your friends. Yo, first, let me hit you with some iambic pentameter. Here you are, past tense. Let me cut you down in your prime. To Almighty Token, we are bringing you a Nimipu spit, low-key, but prime time. Today, I want to introduce you to my hood. I see you out here repping on my block, cousin. Compared to my people, time immemorial, you ain't shit, youngin'. Kamiknasa Inuas Kus, remember that I am water. Kamiknasa Inuas Kus, remember that I am water. 10 cups, moccasin men, yet boys ready for the slaughter. Let's look at this narrative one more time, the past in review. This isn't John Wayne's War Wagon or How the West Was Won, but a scary movie with Pinhead, Hellraiser, guess who? Yes, we beeping. Your books call us gods, but where's the myth? No, this is just an Indian love story like Mr. and Mrs. Smith. Indian extermination acts, measles, using germ warfare, sick leave, MMIP, unsolved murders, lateral violence, A14, black eye, and a hickey. Back roads, no gas, red rides, beer bottles, pass me that iced Mickey's. Federal law, the bones of children in residential schools, where save the man and kill the Indian gets sticky. With this knowledge, you don't know who you're messing with. As Sherman Alexie says, poof, poof, alliteration. This isn't free verse or home of the free. It's all the other parallelisms, antithetical ones, that make this determination. Tamibnisa inwas Allah, remember that I am fire. Tamibnisa inwas Allah, remember that I am fire. Stolen lands, women, non-treaty require. Now that I have become death, a gun between our worlds, supplier. If you didn't know, let me teach you a lesson. U.S. history is wrong, an absolute liar. Respect is superfluous when it comes to the United States of America's blood quantum and body count. Rules, regulation, laws, segregation, too much tyranny in any amount. Our mothers, sisters, aunties, reservations, water, flour, and fry bread bring famine to our people, served us up diabetes to every Indian now off with his head. Doctors, dentists, statesmen, underserved communities, healthcare, drugs, poverty, and Indian heads in jars, cigarette packs, quarter bloods, dimes and nickels, butter brands, mascots, and the way of water, avatars. the Nina, the Pinta, and the Santa Maria, the real history of Thanksgiving, 1492, Columbus began his genocide offshore. Kona, Te'eitza, Enem, Titoken, there my people go to war. Kona, Te'eitza, Enem, Titoken, there my people go to war. With the forces that use gender dominance to settle the score, Alliance gives us examinations of how serving the family serve the goals of the colonial-based violence. Strategies target women, two-spirit, and children, denial and silence. And since we all native rappers now, we don't need Indian bones in the fucking Smithsonian, non-compliance. Heteropatriarchy disciplines individualized community, Indigenous women's right to control their own bodies and lives by empire. To meet Nisa, Alaki, Paino, remember, I will arrive by fire. To meet Nisa, Alaki, Paino, remember, I will arrive by fire. Endorsing the misconceptions of male superiority, ownership and control over your daughter, implying erasure is legitimate, so non-natives can make rightful claims to our lands, disappearing and no one saw her. But as Toni Morrison notes, those narratives are largely told by the victors of war, presenting a version of truth or reality as if it's all white male life, Shakespeare or Geoffrey Chaucer. I hope you take this personally, because then your emotions get the best of you. In blood-drenched, the patriarchy, Republicans, democracy. Here, there is another master narrative speaking. To meet Nisa, Kuski, Paino, remember, I will arrive by water. To meet Nisa, Kuski, Paino, remember, I will arrive by water. Yo, hello.
Kasalalia, everyone. Mowa. H1 Skaragan Tekwani, oh wow. I acknowledge the natives of this land, their leaders, traditional, religious, and political. I thank everyone, the organizers of this space, who have gathered us so that we can be in community together. My name is Carol Ann. Home for me is originally the beautiful island of Hawaii, in what is today the Federated States of Micronesia. Although I live and reside in the Kingdom of Hawaii, where the natives' grandmother, the land, has nourished me and raised me. Today I'm going to be sharing a poem that was written for Oxford University's Pitt Rivers Museum, who has an extensive collection of archaeological gifts and treasures from the Pacific. The story is written from the point of view of an unfinished shell shank that would have become a fish hook, and it was buried in the tombs of the old Saltador. The Saltador were the kings of Nanmato, an extant civilization found on my island. I am a direct descendant of them. I invite everybody to Google Nanmato so you can visualize it as I read. It's spelled N as in native, A as in apothecary, N as in native, space, M as in magic, A as in apothecary, D as in decolonization, O as in ocean, and L as in liberation. Again, N-A-N space M-A-D-O-L-E. The image you should find is of stacks of great basalt. The lightest of these columns is about 3 tons, and it was built about over 2,000 years ago. And the poem, again, is written from the perspective of one of the gifts that was taken from the king's tomb. Mass, a little over 2,000 years ago, I once spawned many pearls in the waters of the ruins of what is now Nanmado. From my shell of obsidian, I watched as 2 brothers, long before the overthrow, constructed great walls of basalt, carving and levitating tons of stone. The brothers were master stonemasons, harnessing the mystical powers of buoyancy, water, and salinization. These ocean travelers built a megalithic, floating civilization. Over the coconut wireless, a centuries-old technology, arrived rumors of a man named Jesus walking on the Sea of Galilee. Whilst these men built an empire atop the Sea of Matananiu. Olasoba, member of the great clan Dupulap, became ruler once construction ceased. I and many others were harvested for his coronation, our pearls retrofitted into sacred adornments amidst whispered incantations, Pintada, Marguerite, Tifera. My shell of high value, left saved and unfinished, buried with the first king of Ban Gadra. In matrilineal success, time moved forward as we laid at rest. History remembers the inheritor Monwe as the first Saudalo, his name meaning first of his reign. Then came Inenamwe, highly respected and obeyed, followed by Sakonamwe, whose legacy is remembered as the tyrannizing age. He was succeeded by Saredin Sap, a ruler of great magical powers, who would send his Lori friends to gather intelligence and make the giants cower. Ray Wenlem was his scion, his rule filled with stories of riches and success. Ray Wenloko, next in line, was the Saudalor who ate of human flesh. The last of the line was Saudamoy, he who fled from the rebellion that overthrew his dynasty, led by Iso Galagan. Saudamoy, the shapeshifter, who some say ran, some say flew, ultimately fleeing as a fish, painted cerulean and azure, he now hides not too far from the ruined kingdom of basalt, in Kamo Pungpung, the hidden waterfall. Now here I am in this archaeological hall as I sit entrapped, wondering where home is beyond these walls. I wonder if, had I been a finished fishhook, what role I could have played in it all. Could I have been used to catch the runaway king? But here I stay, a long way from home, a spectacle, an unfinished, speculated thing.
Thank you, Carol. Trats kulawat oikalo inem Lalatiwama kakustita inem naksaadsa ka nimigu himiu ka liloin kinawas kayo oikaloma titluma kina ki himakas katsiayo ada ku isima il titokoma Ohlone. I was thinking about the ocean with our workshops that we did last year. It's an unfamiliar ecology to me, being a mountain person in an interior landscape. But my elders always told me to think of the land as being a storied landscape. And so this area here seems appropriate for this poem. 9 miles away to the west is an island called Alcatraz Island, where they built Alcatraz Federal Penitentiary. A warrior from my homeland in southeastern Washington was arrested and sent to Alcatraz. He was a Palouse warrior. His name was Big Star. He was sent to Alcatraz Penitentiary and later he escaped. So this writing is in honor of him. 1. Kakaus ibelikt, like thunder. He kahahawita, iwamkaitika. Distantly, the current of waves, they sang. Titalin wako, ki talakt, hitka kalahnata, ahaulaksa, atiakuspa. Louder now, this body, it falls away, disappears into the vast expanse of waters. In wasabahaiwanim, I am set free. Hiya la wiksa tuskach ilakawin wanipt achtim inem. It floats upwards, lighted, a song in my throat. 2. Nayats kots chaptiokin was kayuch talkaliktki hipa walal kakon imana. My brother, I yet wear across my body the rope they hung you with. Watu ilapchapi wakishwit. This life is not the end. Natu kuuski watis kituin walat pin hiwaku. Never will the earth be shackled. Kakinem timina asin tin nibatski sayuch timunin itit. Let my heart devour the rifle butt. Kitox, Chautel nim iskit, watu inim wes. The ghost trail is not mine this day. 3. Ataku, chikawisnich hatawit hutaya wako. It ever becomes the fiercest of love now. Ichapak takin iska walat patas kayuch kashwin kain ina hiwaka. devout as the shackles that had scarred me. Quotes Wakin pi ma'axna pi wapsiana. I have yet to shed the skin of wars. Kamutanas imem wanikt, and to call your name. Wa'atu wayalasanim waktaman kinich matu uikinich kimti hasen, not from the rattling din of massacre, but from the first new breath. Tuskinika tispa ketwanasin adiakuspa kahaika. Above, in the salted mist between ocean and sky. After interacting with all of you on Zoom, I was so empowered. My voice felt so trembling and moving and getting bigger. So I dedicate this poem to you, and having written it after one of our most profound interactions on one of our meetings. It's an English-only poem. Split the tongue, devour the heart, never more. Fast upon the edges of the world, greet the unearthed, the lost and wandering in a dream. Shake their hand, each, one by one, until perceptibly you hear echoed spirit words, the din of lands shaking the skull. It was you all along. We had been searching. 5 times come to life now. The arrows are true now. Let the mountains sing your name. All shall cross your path. Seize in your mouth our breath. The creation, the unshadowed world.
Hello. My name is Fede Kong-Gonzalez, and I'll just start off by saying thank you so much to everyone. Over the past year through the fellowship, I was writing a lot. How about that? Okay. I was writing a lot about strings. I tend to, when I write, I draw from the same world. I'm going to be reading 3 things written in chronological order. So first, one of the very few first things that I wrote during our time together, then one of the last, and then something that I started yesterday, still in the works. All right. Intro to string theory. A river is a string, a fish splashing a knot. Bloodlines are strings. My family bumping through. Time is a string, and knots are memories. If love can be a string, then I, much like a swimming fish, or family, or memory, become not. I dream of an endless string, long enough to stretch beyond time and blood, thin enough to stitch the distance between sho and you. Remember, each letter is a string, and each word on this page is a knot. They pulse with the same rhythm of my braid. Let me make a nest of us, Mom, and I have the same hair, and I haven't cut it since I left. Sometimes I catch you in the cracks of the mirror, and I look at every single hair
think that each one is threaded, laced with the sweat of memories, stress, drugs, processed slowly to reveal split ends from the buzzed-headed kid that was so scared to love you. So I make it a point to touch every part of myself, under the toenail, the corners of the crowns of my teeth, the inside of my lip. I tend to each root on the scalp. When I pull a hair out, we wins. Last night, I pulled another, except it kept going and going until I got a call, and on the other end was you. I asked about the mole on the nape of my neck that I know of only with touch. I'm learning to see without feeling, the way a child's hand knows to find the first knot. Most call it navel. I'm learning to reach within, mend a rope that cracks like a door, and grip, and tug, and pull, and heave, and I remember how you used to lick my eye when I caught something. I think this is what it's like to be born, because the tongue is a string too. We were made soft to enter. We were made soft to enter. We were made softly to enter. Come, I see you now. I love you. This next one is untitled. All right. As the world breaks down, I wonder, will we survive ourselves? Let's go wash, love down to the river, soothe me with stone. I'll tend to you. Let us sheath the country, bend like a current, bend like a vein, bend like a branch heavy with ripe. Sow sun into earth, let's braid ourselves together, curve around each other, I'll bloom to you. Let's wash ourselves, we can catch the stars in the water. And this last one, I just started writing yesterday. All right. If time is a string, let it be the one I unravel. One more thing, because I can never help but be honest with you. For the first time, I'm daring to love, to disarm and unfold. Allow the sun to rise out of my throat and ask you to lap the yolk of me, trusting that I can be held like a bird or a secret too. Much time ago, my grandpa needed a new home, so he came to Uruguay. As he tells the story, the boat boils up from the ground with that wet smell and the puddles of blood always, because some things cannot be lost to time. He was on the floor with his liver out. They swapped it for a horse's. Something about an emergency surgery. He says that on that ship, a second chance was born. That if something broke, it broke free. These days, I keep getting distracted. Imagine a field. I look around. I don't know why I keep coming here. It's big, a grain field, wheat, 1,000 flags upright. It's endless and golden, a canvas of sunlight. Then something washes over. Bending fronds of amber in waves, they ripple and whisper 1,000 prayers and 1,000 blessings. They come spilling over me, a stampede of light, a path being laid. I think something is being ridden. I think of wild horses running inside of me. I think a new one is born each time something is lost. They're supposed to chase it back, pull me together. I'm not sure if I was born knowing how to survive or if I learned it. I'm not sure what I tell stories for. Thank you.
Hello, everyone. It's such a joy to be here in this space with you. I'm Marisa Lin, and I was born in China, and I grew up in Minnesota, land of the Wap'an people. This first poem is called Holy Chrysanthemum, which is the literal translation of my name from Mandarin, Shengyu, Holy Chrysanthemum. When I was born, I bloomed into a chrysanthemum, the kind they make tea out of, the kind that gets capped in box tins and sent away. When I was born, I was shipped over the Pacific to be shelved next to my loose-leafed cousins, all of us smiling down the aisle, people saying we were darling little things. When I was sold, my head was a tiny sun dropping into a ceramic mug, my petals unfurling in the heat, steam releasing in curled wisps like pigs' tails, wisps that whimpered in the naked air. I learned it first in English. Chrysanthemum. Reciting the syllables like catching myself on a stumble. Chrysanthemum, as in christen the baby. Mumbling in an airplane's womb. Face folded into a mother's armpit, tender stem peeling out over ocean to San Francisco. The gold, country, gold, sun, country of golden sun, where my ancestors once sung on the railroads, broken souls, worshiping the theology of white. Everywhere in Minnesota, there were people, good, kind people, the good kind of people, but not the kind that understood. Now, Mom, as in Mom, dear Mom, you cradled me on that flight to blossom softened by the tossing of the foreign wind. From that day forward, you raised me with the hope that a name could be a protection, so we chanted the other character to make it true. Shengzai, 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 you moaned at church. Holy, 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 I squawked at chapel, believing it could be a promise or a prophecy, dear Mom. Only after I had burst into 1,000 fronds did I realize you assigned me an impossible name. For the preacher said to be holy is to be set apart, to keep oneself pure for special purpose. But how can I be so when I am cargo? To be clean when the dirt so cleans. This next poem is a newer poem. It's addressed to Bisan, who is a Palestinian journalist reporting from the ground in Gaza. She's been posting on social media since the violence began. To Bisan. In the melody of war, there are only silences, a broken latch, and a door on the ground to nowhere. In the sky, drones, leaflets trembling, and a man clasping his mother. There are not enough, never enough, you say, screens to show this. I see you walking through a bombed city, relieved the day has come again. Alive, you crow. And yet, death is not a moment, but years in a slingshot, a rock thoughtfully weighed in the palm, thrown at metal, rolling in. Tell them, your camera says, a flag is more than a border. Red, black, green, white. In my mother's language, the characters for your fruit translate into West melon, 2/3 of which are grown in China. You see, the West is nothing without the East, which is to say, you are right. A nation can only love itself, just as a child will never forget the last day she was happy, or a hound will always return to his empty home. Forgive me. This language was not made for hope. I found it stuffed in the nose of a gun, counting fires in its sleep. Thank you.
I like it when can I whoa Oi puna lau ke aloha kako o noʻu kahau oli ko uinoa no ka wai aba o Maui mai ia he moʻo puna he Hawaiʻi nui ko umahalo mo ke ia hui ana I ke ia lau. Aloha kako. My name is Noʻu. I'm a Noʻu poet from Hawaii, and today I want to introduce you to my grandmother, Laie Kawai, who is turning 90 next week. In a very real way, every poem that I write is an attempt to say thank you to the incredibly strong and sassy and resilient Hawaiian women who raised me. And the poem I offer you today says thank you to my grandmother. And I like to think of this poem as a villanelle that leaks. Or in other words, this is what happens when a villanelle gets just a taste of my grandmother's water.
I like it when we were children.
Yeah.
And then she used to tell us stories about, you know, who and who, especially girls, you know. Yeah. I said, oh my God. That's why I said, you know, if I was only the kind of person that would carry with me a book and a pencil, I could write down all the stories.
The nearest body of water is my grandmother. Haunanike Trask said empire demands death. Ue kalani Ola kahonua. Sky weeps, land lives. The nearest body of water is my grandmother. If my grandmother weeps, my body floods. Good descendants collect sandbags for life, but the favorites know how to dig a ditch. Haunani said, empire demands death. Now I know nothing about roosters with razors for feet. I know everything about roosters with razors for feet. Because my grandmother was a gambler. But if she were holy water, her blessings were printed in the paper as the only woman arrested in the raid. Fight money hidden in the washing machine because Haunani wasn't the first woman to teach me empire. Don't be a rat, said my grandmother. And she was right, because in Kahului we had chickens, dead cats, and juicy fruit gum. And if you were standing close enough to my grandmother, you were close enough to get slapped. Ue kalani. I have never seen my grandmother cry. And I don't know why, but the story I cling to tells it like this. My grandfather died and she walked to the nearest body of water in Paukukalo. No one got close enough to redirect her grief. No one remembers what the sky was doing or who was screwing who. Empire took my grandfather before I was born and walked my grandmother to the sea. But she left marks in the earth. Ola kahonua, a whole way of walking to ward off death. You see, the women in my family walk like we're dragging a body to water. Uwe kalani. And if empire marks us, we mark the way back. Mahalo nui loa.
Hi, everybody. First of all, I want to say this is such a powerful. I always get emotional, like I want to cry, but I think it's the theme of water. It's your guys' fault. I was like, why is it I just get around this group and I'm immediately like I want to cry. You could say apple and I'll just and I just feel so watery, but it's a blessing because being poets, our vulnerability is our strength. And I want to start because normally I would say I'm going to always represent for Palestine or represent in solidarity for Palestine, but today I'm choosing two poems that are more from this in relation to reclamation, and I want to frame by saying everything I do right now is in solidarity with Palestine. And I hope that we can take Mosab Abu Toha's words. He said, two quotes, "If there were enough real poets in the world, this would not continue to happen." And then he posted something recently that just said, "Never stop talking about Palestine. Gaza needs every word and color from you now." So if I could use one portion of this time to just remind you all to use your voices and don't turn away. So I do owe a lot of this completion of a new manuscript to the fellowship. I'll give a special shout out to my friend Yahaira, who's out there, Salvatierra, who helped me also work through this. So I'm going to share one piece that I wrote recently, also inspired by Beth, you shared a praise poem, and one of them is a praise poem in Reclamation, and this is dedicated to all of you. It's called Praise Poem for Lost Language. And I do want to say also, I'm making connections to everybody, but let me not do too many. My 5 minutes is gone. Amanda, like the multilingual children that we raise, my son speaks Spanish and English and some Tagalog. And yes, it's an invention of new things. Praise Poem for Lost Language. Praise the desire to recover you, whom I have danced with over lifetimes. Praise my faulty renderings of you, the errored grammar, an imperfect mirror. Praise, whoop, it's hot. Praise the belief in origins, despite the flawed maps I render and follow. I arrive there anyway, late, missing sunset, unsure of what day it is. Praise beginning and beginning again, returns, crash into margins, into origins. I keep losing sight of blurry image of myself, and the tongue attempting to form uneasy syllables, tongue-tied and thrashing, tracing lifelines, island inlets. Try to trill and tilde my own name. Praise unease and attempts and failures, and beginning again and again. There are the words they taught me: body parts, household items, mata, ilong, kamay, cilia, tenedor, gatas. And there's the grammar from the faded, scribbled up textbook, and the stacks of cassette tapes and CDs and the immersion trip, and decades later, beginning again. Hindi nakakaintindihan ko ng Tagalog. Audio lessons break sentences into fragments, broken into pieces the throat can swallow. Attempt to put them together again, jagged pieces that fit uneasily. There's value in being broken, in being lost on the errored map. Hindi nakakaintindihan ko ng Tagalog. Nakakaintindihan ko ng Tagalog. Ako ay Filipino. There is value in being broken. Praise this brokenness. You, my language of stops and starts, of loss, waves lap the shore. My birth language. The book is called Birth Language. Oh God, can I even use words? I should just be water right now and just do sounds of water. That would sound better. Okay, so this is an older one that is in the same collection and also dedicate to you. And it starts with a quote from Antonio de Morga, who wrote in Sucesos de las Islas Filipinas. These people, both men and women, seem amphibious and to be able to live on water as well as on land. So well do they swim and dive. 5 pieces of iron were thrown into the sea for them for the pleasure of seeing them exercise themselves. It's called amphibious. To be amphibious is to breathe underwater, gills and fins illuminated in a flash of sun. To be sirenos es amar el mar, es tener cuerpos de agua, disfrutar how the sea dances along our spines, how it fills our hair, makes us weightless. We do not care if we are seen, taken as entertainment, desnudos, observados en un acto sagrado. Our brown bodies split the water, no para conquista, kundi para sa unión. Our bangka are extensions of our katawan ng tubig. Do you know which hands carved this wood mula sa ang mga puno, whose spirits guide us to the other side? Hindi namin kailangan ng mga mapa. Hindi namin kailangan ng mga kumpas. Feel the immense dagat move. beneath us. Can you feel it through the thick hulls of your conquering vessels? We do not disrupt the harmony of things. Can you plunge your hand into the sea and bring up a fish? Can you split one into 2,000 pieces so that every mouth is filled? Can you perform such the miracles you describe in your holy book? Watched by mga anito, todos los seres vivos nos protegen. Bawat plankton, bawat maliit na hipon, bawat nababuhay ng bagay. Ser amphibious, upang maging kasuwato sa dagat, is to breathe underwater.
I hate having a W last name. Last after everyone.
Best for last.
Ang pwede washte ni Tatiapi. Chante washte, you have a pejuju bikashto. Disha tatewi machiapi wapa washte mantaman. And just for you, Cody, shkuk tash, anyanam trigger, tate.
What's up?
All right. Thank you. I just cursed you in Lakota. You're welcome. Just kidding. I didn't do that. No, it's a great grounding exercise, right? To remember who I am and be thankful for being in this space with you all. My name is Taté. My pronouns are they, them. Well, my colonial pronouns anyway. But if you know Lakota and you want to call me auntie, I'm a deadly one. So I'm a two-spirit storyteller and a citizen of the Cheyenne River Sioux tribe, Mini Kanju Lakota. So honored to be here today. So humbled to be sharing space and mics and dinner and food that I can't eat because I'm allergic to it with all these beautiful minds. I say it every time. Sorry, I can't do five things at once and my touch ID isn't working. But it's me. I swear, the sweat. All right, this has been such an amazing experience, and I have to really pull myself out of that imposter mindset of like, holy shit, what am I doing here? I'm a journalist by trade and have a master's of science, but here I am trying to write stuff and Googling what enjambment means because I have no idea. Like, a contrapuntal thing. All right, so here, but I did one of those, yeah. So I've been very inspired by this group and so humbled to be in presence with Beth and with Natalie, two folks who I am so inspired by, and Lori, and it's just so great to be part of. So, first poem I'm going to read is one that was inspired by this group. We're talking about water and talking about where we carry it, and because I was trying to challenge myself to get out of my comfort zone, I guess, right? I think I'm very empathetic when it comes to poetry. Like, I feel it, right? And as Natalie helped me discover, that's the heat, right? But I really wasn't on the technical side of things, and I kind of wish you could see it because it's a quadrupuntal poem, and a concrete poem, so it takes the shape of water, and after much criticism and great feedback from this group, I've been working on it for the last 2 months, and I'm actually very proud of where it's at. So, without further ado, I am water. I am water. I am named and born for the air, but elementally, I am 2 parts Lakota, 1 part Irish, 97% salty, auntie, a full drop of Oaxteca, queer enough to make you wet, thirst and salivate, storm and weep. I am a deluge of need, a flash dance of desire. I am water, surface tensioned like a dammed river, pushing against fathomless grief and memory, where former lovers call me shallow, where strangers cower from the icy blast of my resting matriarch face, trademarked. Oh, but I am a great swimmer, a leviathan, patient and meticulous, Currents move me toward a dusky horizon, promising the peace of dark things, where the distance between bath and baptism is 60 degrees of Wawahating sin. I am water. My sweat is a ceremony, hot and polluted, nasa, hissing against stone heartbeats. In my songs, breath becomes blessing, prayer hands stretched skyward transform into vessels, catching whatever leftovers exist of life diluted by exclusionary dogmas. Drink deeply of my tears, dying minds resurrect as leeches, eat of my petrified bones and be purified. I am Mini Kinkolusha Hapaye, always journeying back to myself. Constant transformation, creation and destruction as one, as all, a cycle as promised as the wawachi between the moon and the sun. My waves wash away the bite of love and loss and forgetting and reclaiming, which is just re-relativing. It's said there's no stepping into the same river twice, yet the waters of millions of yesteryears exist in the here now. I am everlasting. Opila. And then I want to read from my poetry book, just a shameless plug here, Trickster Riots, and this is just in the same vein as water rights, right? If everyone remembers the No Dakota Access Pipeline and Standing Rock, and there's a lot of, within Indian country, actually, in general, there's this idea of land back. And that can be tough to wrap your head around. But especially as we watch genocide unfolding in real time, it brings back memories of solidarity, where the Kiev was gifted to us at Standing Rock by a coalition of Palestinians who came to stand with us against oil companies, and they deserve that from us as well, always. So this is dedicated to them, land back. And just a reminder that you do the best you can with what you have, but you have to try. I've been trying to connect with the land my whole life, but I've never had the language to do so. Speaking with the land is a puzzle, colonialism scattered across generations, and it's likely my great-grandchildren will still be picking up the pieces. So I pick up trash with my family. We spend weekends and holidays amid public parks and open spaces, dismantling the rubbish. We collect the fragments of humanity, cigarette butts, wrappers, and plastic, always plastic. We fill bags and bags, and it never feels like enough. So we leave the best of ourselves, service and prayer, the same things really, for the land. At home, we pick up seeds, hold them like fragile wishes before sending them back into the earth. Plant medicine, introduced by friends and elders and digital talking circles. Sage and sweetgrass, cedar and tobacco, greasewood and prickly pear, the three sisters, all merging our bodies and our spirits. I pick up their names with my heart, their syllables uttered like a prayer, practicing in Lakota and other indigenous languages others have the patience to teach me. Bejiota, Wachanga, Kante and Chanli, Shagai, Nohi, Wagmesha, Omnicha, Wagmu. My tongue scatters their sounds, clumsy with Western habits. They listen to my songs regardless. Ah, hee, oh, yeah, way, oh, yeah. Ah, hee, oh, yeah, oh, yeah. I'd managed to pick up a few pieces of this puzzle, admiring the history of sparkling stones, thumbing the artwork braille of bark, caressing secrets from leaves and petals, sharing blood thorn from pricked skin, dark soil sifting through fingers searching for story. I thank the land for its gift of being, make it promises I hope to fulfill. We don't yet know the other's language, so I smile, and a week or a month later, blooms smile back at me. I sing them ceremony songs and Broadway hits, and poetry in the senses, poems. I sing them all this to let them know who I am. We are relatives, and relativing. I want the land back, yes. But even more, I want the land to want me back. Each the other's missing piece, our jigsaw edges fitting together in a long-awaited embrace. Ah-hee-ay, oh-wee-ay, way, oh-wee-ay. Ah-hee-ay, oh-wee-ay, oh, way, oh-wee-ay. Ah-hee-ay, oh-wee-ay, way, oh-wee-ay. Ah-hee-ay, oh-wee-ay, oh, way, oh-wee-ay.
Thank you for all of these beautiful readings. We've come to the end of our time for now. I say this because all the poets have to be back at 4 o'clock for an acrostic workshop in the beautiful exhibit by Dwayne Linkletter, My Mother's Side. All of you who are here, maybe take a little spin through the exhibit if you haven't yet. My heart is so full, and I can feel that yours are too. So, Katsuya, thank you. See you tomorrow.
We need a picture of the poets.
All the poets have to come down here first. Thank you.